So now this month, AKA Samhain, what do people call it? Halloween, right? A lot of our people don't research these things. I'm seeing people coming out with their children with little pumpkins, okay? Around this time of year is a very demonic time of year because you had Celtic druids that would do celebratory things for the dying off of certain of the life in what they call it, autumn, in the fall time. And they would do different rituals like trick or treating. But what do? They pretty up everything now and they make it into, you know, some sort of a celebration, and where people dress up in alter egos and different spirits. Typically, it's witches, mummies, and zombies and ghosts and things of that nature. Now, nobody stops to say, wait a minute, why is this celebration always involve death? Because when you look up the history of it, matter of fact, let's do that real quick. Let's read a link concerning the origins of Halloween. You back? Back already? Origins of Halloween. Now we just gonna do a quick Google search. Origins of Halloween, right? See if we can find a link. So inquiring minds do research. And a lot of our people, you don't research anything. You just follow trends. You just follow what everybody else is doing. But when you look into the origins of Halloween or Samhain, it's not glorious. It's not something you took your kids and they participated in, right? But let's see what Google says. What is the history? Okay. Halloween's origins date back to ancient Celtic festival of Samhain, like I was mentioning earlier, right? It says the Celts, who lived 2,000 years ago, mostly in the area that is now Ireland, the UK, and northern France, celebrated their new year on November 1st. This day marked the end of summer and the harvest and the beginning of the dark, cold winter, a time of the year that was often associated with human death. Like I was saying, right? Now, this time of year in ancient times, this is when people died. Because you got to figure back then, of course they knew how to start fires and things like that, but they had diseases and different things back then, and people started dying around this time of year. And don't be surprised if people were doing a lot more sacrifices around that time of year, because it was understood that the cold is coming in and people weren't going to survive, right? So that's the Celts believe that on the night before the new year, again, they celebrated November 1st as their new year, the boundary between the worlds of the living and the dead became blurred. On the night of October 31st, they celebrated Samhain, when it was believed that the ghost of the dead returned to the earth. This is what they were celebrating back in 2,000 years ago, right? They were celebrating death. And that's why you see today with Halloween, what do you have? They literally kept that tradition. You got ghosts, you got witches, you got people decorate their front lawns as graveyards.
Yeah, I'm seeing that more and more. They're getting like more elaborate.
Yeah,
like giant skeletons.
Right, they got skeletons.
Yeah,
they got blood. They got Jason. They got all these demonic characters that they turn into like this celebratory thing, right?
Yep.
In addition to causing trouble and damaging crops, Celts thought that the presence of the otherworldly spirits made it easier for the Druids or Celtic priests to make predictions about the future. For a people entirely dependent on the volatile nature of the world, these prophecies were an important source of comfort during the long, dark winter. So you see, the folks at this time, right? This what they were acknowledging. They knew that it was a demonic time of the year, and they were fully engaged in these druids, these Celtic druids, which were priests, demonic priests. They would go out, when you do more research into it, they would go door to door, knocking on people's houses, and they would throw curses on people. They'd be asking for food. They would carry around dead cats. That's why with Halloween, what do you always see? You see black cats, and you see bats, and you see, you know what I mean, witches with brooms and stuff like that. To commemorate the event, Druids built huge sacred bonfires where people gathered to burn crops and animals as sacrifices to the Celtic deities. During the celebration, the Celts wore costumes, typically consisting of animal heads and skins, and attempted to tell each other's fortunes. Imagine that. So now this goes deeper. The act of putting or wearing a costume of a dead animal,
Yeah.
that's what they did now in so-called 2025. Not knowing that you're literally indulging in a ritual, a Celtic Druid ritual. It says, when the celebration was over, they relit their hearthy fires, which they had extinguished earlier that evening, from the sacred bonfire to help protect them during the coming fire. Now, this is a little bit more on this. I'm gonna save this link. It says by AD 43, the Roman Empire had conquered the majority of the Celtic territory. In the course of the 400 years that they ruled the Celtic lands, two festivals of Roman origin were combined with the traditional Celtic celebration of Samhain. So now when the Romans took over the Celts, that celebration where they had of death and blood and all of that, right? When the Romans took over, they combined Halloween with Roman customs. We're about to read about that right now. The first Feralia, a day in late October when the Romans traditionally celebrated the passing of the dead. The second was a day to honor Pomona, the Roman goddess of fruit and trees. The symbol of Pomona is the apple, and the incorporation of this celebration into Samhain probably explains the tradition of bobbing for apples that is practiced today on Halloween. There you go.
Yeah.
So the apple picking during this time of year goes right back to Roman customs. All Saints Day on May 13, 1609, Pope Boniface IV dedicated the Pantheon in Rome in honor of all Christian martyrs, and the Catholic Feast of All Martyrs Day was established in the Western Church. Pope Gregory III later expanded the festival to include all saints as well as all martyrs and moved the observance from May 13th to November 1st. So the celebration of all martyrs now got wrapped in to Samhain and also into that other festival of the Druids. It says, by the 9th century, the influence of Christianity has spread into Celtic lands, where it gradually blended with the supplanted older Celtic rites. In the year 1000, the church made November 2nd, All Souls Day, a day to honor the dead. It's widely believed today that the church was attempting to replace Celtic Festival of the Dead with a related church-sanctioned holiday. All Souls Day was celebrated similarly to Samhain, with big bonfires, parades, and dressing up in costumes as saints, angels, and devils. That was Satan, by the way.
Yeah.
That was clearly Satan. Yep. The All Saints Day celebration was also called All Hallows or All Hallowmas, from Middle English Ahalomesi, meaning All Saints Day, and the night before it, the traditional night of Samhain in the Celtic religion, began to be called All Hallows Eve and eventually Halloween.
Wow. Damn.
Real quick, how did Halloween start in America? The celebration of Halloween was extremely limited in colonial New England because of the rigid Protestant belief systems there. Halloween was more commonly recognized in Maryland and the southern colonies. Now, the state Maryland, do you know where they got that name from?
Oh no.
So, the the people that mostly settled there were Catholics. And who did the Catholics worship? Mary, the Virgin Mary. So that's where the name for that state became Maryland. Okay? As the belief and customs of different European ethnic groups and American Indians meshed, a distinctly American version of Halloween began to emerge. The first celebrations included play parties, which were public events held to celebrate the harvest. Neighbors would share stories of the dead, tell each other's fortunes, dance, and sing. So even by the time it came around to America, they even had their twist on it. And now they were celebrating and talking about the dead and what have you. Colonial Halloween festivities also featured the telling of ghost stories. So you see the same spirit was still there, even all the way from the ancient Celtic tradition. It went from the Celtics to the Romans, and then from there the Protestants, and then here in America. It said colonial Halloween festivities also featured the telling of ghost stories and mischief making of all kinds. By the middle of the 19th century, annual autumn festivities were common, but Halloween was not yet celebrated everywhere in the country. In the second half of the 19th century, America was flooded with new immigrants. These new immigrants, especially the millions of Irish fleeing the Irish potato famine, helped to popularize the celebration of Halloween nationally. History of trick-or-treating. Borrowing from European traditions, Americans began to dress up in costumes and go house to house asking for food or money, a practice that eventually became today's trick or treat tradition. Young women believed that on Halloween they could divine the name or appearance of their future husband by doing tricks with yarn, apple parings, or mirrors. That's another thing too. You always see a lot of fortune telling and like mysticism. The scriptures tell you suffer not a witch to live. The scriptures is very straightforward against necromancy, they call it. Witchcraft. What's another word they have?
Sorcery?
Sorcery.
Yeah.
Any type of charm work. Scriptures talk about that. If you actually find that, you remember where that's at in the law? I think it's is it Deuteronomy 13? I want to say it's Deuteronomy 13. But I'm gonna continue on here. It says in the late 1800s, there was a move in America to mold Halloween into a holiday more about community and neighborly get-togethers than about ghosts, pranks, and witchcraft. At the turn of the century, Halloween parties for both children and adults became the most common way to celebrate the day. Parties focused on games, foods of the season, and festive costumes. Parents were encouraged by newspapers and community leaders to take anything frightening or grotesque out of Halloween celebrations. Because of these efforts, Halloween lost most of its superstitious and religious overtones by the beginning of the 20th century. And I'm gonna stop there. But there's always origins and truths and information regarding whatever it is you partake in. And Halloween, its origins came from ancient Celtic Druids, which were priests, demonic priests, that would wear the skins of dead animals and things of that nature and go around enchanting and putting curses on people. But now in 2025, what do? American culture has taken that and try to make it into something jolly or fun. But it still can't get past its origins. So when you out there taking your child out to do trick or treating, you're actually partaking in a ritual. And matter of fact, statistics show that Halloween night is one of the most dangerous times of the year. That's where a lot of children go missing and a lot of people end up dying from what? Because you got people running around on the street corners. It's dark out, people getting hit by cars. On top of that, you got a lot of these PDF files that like to put special stuff in candy and they get pleasure in giving stuff to children. There's articles of this couple. This man was putting his man juice on cookies and giving it to children at the front door, man. So you're taking your children And they're at the mercy of these freaks out here, these PDF files that are out here putting special ingredients in your children's cookies and cakes and all that. But hey, more power to you if that's what you want to do. But up here we deal with the truth and the facts, man. And I'm gonna tell you this, a lot of people are upset that we're out here even speaking this reality and especially coming with the words of God. Did you find it out?
Yeah.
Go ahead, you can read it from the top.
So Exodus 22, verse 18. Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live.
Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live, man. Go ahead.
That's pretty much it.
That's it, right? Now that was a law in Numbers. Now I'm going to find the other law concerning witches and they call it necromancers and charmers and things of that nature. Oh, wizards. Wizards is another word, another thing that they put in there too. Shalawam, hold on. Let me see if I can find my notes on that.
There's
If you
one.
want to say something, go ahead, huh?
No, I was gonna say. I think there's a verse in Deuteronomy 18 about the sorcery and witchcraft and
If
stuff.
you can find it, if you find it, bring it up.
Yeah, it's right
I know
here.
I got a whole note on that.
But I was gonna say, a few years ago, like back in 2016 in Springfield,
Yeah.
there was a lot of clown killings. There was like a lot of clowns around Halloween time. It was a trend on social media.
Really?
But clowns will come out on Halloween and they will stab people in Springfield. They were going around kidnapping people and stuff, and clowns going around. They were trying to imitate what's that guy's name? Pennywise and.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
But they were going around. Yeah, there was a lot of clown killings going on around that time in Springfield.
Yeah, go ahead, read that out.
And another thing, weren't there like witches or people like praying over candy too? Like,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Putting spirits on the candy.
Yeah. Witches rule this whole American society, man. There's a lot of women that are actually heavily involved in witchcraft. And, you know, being a cable guy, you go in and out of people's houses, I'm seeing like little altars and shit like that. People got all type of like skulls and stuff in their houses. It's a real thing, man. People don't fear the Lord. Go ahead.
This is Deuteronomy 18, verse 9. When thou art come into the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations of those nations.
Right. The Lord gave us very strict instructions when you come around these other nations. Because let's be honest, a lot of these other ethnic groups, they're the ones that involved in a lot of these other gods. That's just the reality of it. And a lot of our people and our spirits, you know damn well, you shouldn't be out there trick-or-treating, man. There's something it just don't feel right. And let's be honest, most people are dressing up in scary costumes. I remember when I was in high school, they used to have the screen mask.
Yeah,
the screen mask that you would hit a button and it'd be filled with blood.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, you look at people's, like the brother was saying earlier, the Halloween celebrations have leveled up now. You got people, they got huge 20-foot tall skulls in their yard. People will design a whole graveyard in the front of their house. And when you think about it, most people are scared of dead bodies. But for some reason around Halloween, you think it's fun. It's fun to be celebrating death and graveyards and tombstones. It's funny, man. A lot of people in America, you scared of the dark. A lot of y'all won't even go in your damn basement. A lot of y'all terrified to go in your basement. But you think it's funny to play with dead bodies and skeletons and crap like that. Go ahead, huh?
There shall not be found among you any one that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire.
Right.
Or that useth divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch.
Right.
Or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer.
Right. That was the law. Read that part again.
There shall not be found among you any one that maketh his son or daughter to pass through the fire.
Right.
Or that useth divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer.
Right. And you got people that go to church with a Bible in their hand, and they still be out there partaking in that.
Yeah.
The Lord told you not to be involved in none of that crap, man.
So in my family.
Right. The witchcraft and the voodoo and the what's the other one they do? The black magic and the what's the other one? With the beads. What do you call that?
Yoruba.
That too, but there's another one. I forgot what it's called, but a lot of our people, man, they people that are fully indulged in this type of lifestyle, this is the time of year when they start ramping up. They start burning incense, lighting candles, and they start indulging in the season of death. Was that it on it?
I'll read a little.
Yeah,
For all that do these things are an abomination unto the Lord.
Right.
And because of these abominations, the Lord thy God doth drive them out from before thee.
Right. The Lord will drive you out if you're dealing with witchcraft and wizardry and things of that nature. Right here in Deuteronomy chapter 18. Go ahead.
Thou shalt be perfect with the Lord thy God.
Uh-huh.
For these nations which thou shalt possess hearken unto observers of time.
Because remember, we was reading about the Celtic Druid history, right? Mm-hmm. And you had the Romans that they had certain people that observed times and stuff like that. Showing you there's no new thing under the sun. The same behaviors matter of fact, the behaviors we got from day is a repetition of before. Go ahead,
And unto diviners, but as for thee, the Lord thy God have not suffered thee to do so.
Right.
So.
Right. So the Lord didn't suffer us to do so. And again, who's the who, what, when, where, and how? The nation of Israel. Moses. It gave the geographical location. And then these were the instructions he told you. When you come across these other nations, even today, who are the primary nations that are involved in witchcraft, wizardry, necromancing, and all of that? These other people, man. They're the ones that worship this stuff. Because remember, we read when it got to America, what they started doing. They started publishing it in the paper. They started commercializing, marketing it, so that everybody can now pick up on that spirit. Because when you think about it, how did they get everybody to celebrate these things as one? They publish it. They put it out. They put out these decrees. And then they tell you, you know what? Yep, we're going to make this a national holiday. Because it's just one more thing we can consumerize. Another thing we can distract the people. Because what's funny is the government never shuts down. You ever think about that? The only thing that shuts down is everything else except the government on these holidays. Mm-hmm. That's when they can cook up these little policies. Remember, it said they sleep not except, how's that go? They sleep not except they cause someone to fall, make someone to fall. That's what they do. And you got people that go around celebrating this thing, not knowing what they're doing. You putting pumpkins in the front of your house. You're decorating it with cats and bats and tombstones, not knowing you're indulging in an ancient Celtic Druid ceremony and a ritual. And a lot of the youth today, they don't care about that stuff because their parents don't care. Their parents got the Halloween parties. Parents already live lifestyles that are questionable. You know what I mean? So when we come out here, we bring the truth, we bring the facts, man. And then we're gonna bring you back to the scriptures and show you that God does not approve of these things. But there's more scriptures, but we're gonna stop there. Maybe next week we'll continue on with it. But with that, we say Shalawam, peace and blessings to our people. Kwam Yasharal.